A pro-EU centrist moderate, Niko Dan wins the Romania election in what they're calling a stunner. Except for, upon further observation, there was nothing stunning about this victory for Dan. So Dan was running against a populist candidate who was very anti-Russia-Ukraine war named George Simeon. But in the first round of these elections, just a couple of weeks ago, Simeon put a hurting on Dan, and everybody thought that this election was sold up. But Dan somehow comes out the victor plus 6 points after getting his ass handed to him in the first round, and no one knows why, or at least no one thought they knew why, until Simeon came out and said that Macron was interfering in these elections, sending the French ambassador to talk to Romanian businessmen, to talk to the mayor of Bucharest, and to basically do what Western imperialists do. Simeon referred to this election as a coup d'etat, and he might not be that far off, guys. And to understand this, you have to understand why Simeon had to be the one to run to begin with. It's because the candidate that Simeon originally supported, Calin Georgescu, was barred from running in this election. By the way, that was after he was arrested in February for, the same old nonsense they like to bring up, Russian interference, etc., etc. Nothing that you could tangibly prove, but they accuse him of. And by the way, his arrest in February comes after he actually won the first round of elections in Romania in December. And then the courts just decided to cancel the results, once again citing Russian interference. Many may be wondering, why would France, the EU, and NATO be so concerned about Romania and who their president might be? That might have something to do with the fact that around the time Georgescu was arrested, there was an announcement made that the EU and NATO are planning on building the biggest Air Force base in all of Europe right on the border of Romania, with the specific goal of helping Ukraine win the war against Russia. And both Simeon and Georgescu maintain the stance that Romania must stay out of the war against Russia in any way, form, or fashion, because it will lead to Romania eventually being forced to enter the war to defend themselves, because they know Russia don't play that. And if Russia is willing to go to war with Ukraine because of NATO, why wouldn't they be willing to extend that war into Romania, knowing that NATO is building their largest Air Force base there, and Romania borders Ukraine, which means they would have direct access to any type of military operation they would need to commit in Russia. So that's why Dan, the pro-EU, pro-NATO candidate, looks like he was selected and not elected. That's why the president of courts in Romania canceled the election in December when an anti-NATO candidate won the first round. That's why that same presidential candidate was arrested before he could even run for office, and then barred from running for office when elections resumed. And that's why the new anti-NATO candidate somehow managed to throttle the presidential candidate who won in the first round, but then Macron sends his goons to persuade who needed to be persuaded, and all of a sudden, the new presidential candidate, or the new president rather, is the pro-NATO, pro-EU, clearly pro-go to war with Russia president.